Well, hey crafty friends, it's Heidi Scott with DIY Dreaming, and I am super duper 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 excited about this project. So last night when I wasn't sleeping, which is usually a couple nights a week, I wake up and can't go back to sleep. I was wandering around Pinterest and I saw some of these little scissor pouches made with pot holders. And that started me thinking. I didn't have any pot holders, didn't feel like going out, so decided to come up with my own solution and my own project, and it turned out super cute. So I'm going to give you step by step. We're going to actually do it. I took some time to measure everything up in case you want to make one that's exactly the same size. And I will get a picture of this, but I'm going to go through it with you. So it should be great. And what I'm thinking is that if you are the type that likes to craft or sew or crochet or anything while you're traveling, this is a great little doodad to have. Of course, don't take it in your carry-on on an airplane or your scissors will be confiscated. But, and also it's pretty, and I just love to have pretty things around. It would make a great gift, and it's practically free, and you can do this in whatever fabric, colors, style you like. So let me quit talking and let's jump right in. Okay, so what is involved here? Well, I am using canvas duck fabric from the fabric store that I have torn into the dimensions that I will need, and I'll show you. And then I am using some quilt batting. You can get this at any sewing store, and I will show you the dimensions for that. I'm using some, big surprise, some buttons. I'm using some bits and pieces of lace. But again, you can make this your own style and your own colors. And if your scissors are extra large, then just fiddle around with it until you get the size that you need. But this works for these. Whoops. Well, this is a bigger pair, but it especially works for these scissors that I love, that are from magnoliadiy.com. Okay, so what we're going to be making is something that is ultimately going to be 8 inches by 8 inches square. I think, yeah. And inside of this is a square. This is what's going to make it like a quilt, like thick. A piece of 7 by 7 cotton batting. So I tore this piece of canvas duck, and then I ironed it, and I ironed where the crease should be just to make it easier. I ironed it, but this piece right here, sorry, can I open it? Is 8 inches wide by 15 inches long. And how I came up with that is I added a 1/2 inch around this 7 by 7. And then it's folded in half like a sandwich. So on the 7-inch side, that makes it 8. And when this is folded in half, it's 14, but you're going to add another inch there, so it's going to be 8 by 15. And it makes this cute little sandwich. So if you want these instructions, just say instructions or drawing or diagram or something. Okay. Oh, and I pulled out a couple of things that I have made in the last few years. This was something we made maybe 1 or 2 years ago, and it's just a pretty little needle book made with painter's drop cloth, lace, and the same cotton quilt batting, and one of my totally dazzled little cameo bling, some lace. So that's one thing that I made. This is another one of my favorites. This is a vintage coffee creamer dish with canvas duck and some lace, and it's a pincushion. Way a long time ago, maybe 4 years ago, I made this little needle book just using pieces of felt. And this is great if you're like me, you can never find a sewing needle. It's great to have them all in one place. And then I wanted to show you this also. This is my little crochet pouch that has, not crochet, it's a little pouch made out of felt with lace that has my crochet hooks in it. So I can find everything. And then I wanted also to show you this just because it's pretty. This was a book that I covered with bits and pieces of lace and doilies. And it just has a bunch of the jewelry items that I've made here on DIY Dreaming inside of it. Okay, back to this. All right, so my long piece of canvas duck, because that's what I'm using, but you don't have to use canvas duck if you don't want, is 8 inches by 15. And the first thing I need to do is I need to glue it all shut. There's no sewing involved with this. However, if you like to sew and you have a sewing machine or you want to do this by hand, you certainly can. So I'm going to start with this back part here where I'm going to be folding it. And I am using my low temperature hot gluing device. And so I just glued this edge. Now I'm going to do these. And I do want it to match up as good as I possibly can. It doesn't have to be perfect. And what I'm gluing is the stuff around the quilt batting. Okay, let's glue the rest of it closed. Okay, so you're going to end up with this little pouch that's nice and thick and soft because it has a piece of quilt batting inside of it. Then we're just going to fold it like an ice cream cone, like the cone thing. And I just need to figure out which way I want to start. I want this because that's a little mistake where it's all puckered there. I want that to be on the inside. Okay, so I'm going to start out by folding this side in. And let's make sure that it will be big enough to hold some scissors. Yes, it will. Okay, all I'm going to do basically is glue this edge down. All the way down to the point. Okay, so can you see what I have done? This part is open still to accommodate a pair of scissors. Then we're going to fold this one over and glue it down, and it will accommodate a second pair of scissors. So you can adapt this idea of a pattern, I'm only calling it a pattern very loosely, to do just one single pouch, or maybe you want two like this, or maybe you want three, or whatever. Okay, so now I need to glue this side down. The embellishment is where it gets really fun. And I am using my Surebonder low temperature hot gluing device. You can pick these up at pretty much any craft store, at Walmart, at Hobby Lobby, whatnot. It's under $10 generally. And I just have had way too many hot glue burns in my crafting history that I am unwilling to do that anymore. So I pretty much always use low temperature. That's just how I do it. Okay, so this is basically it. This one has has a little bit of fringe at the bottom, but it is completely glued shut, and this one did too. It's kind of thick, so it's hard to get that completely, you know. Okay, you could stop right here, but why would you? Why would you do that when you can do something fun? And I have just a bunch of different laces pulled out here. Let's see what's good. And I'm basically just going to glue some strips of lace down the edges. Let's see, there's a pretty one in here. Oh my word, there's too many good choices. I could do little bits of doily. Yeah, there's lots of options. But I want 3 different kinds of lace. And I would love to use this rickrack because it's vintage, but it's way too wrinkly. So let me just dig here for one more set. Okay, here's some good ones. Okay, so I'm going to do a strip of lace right here, a strip of lace right here, and a strip of lace right here. This is what it's going to look like. You could do lace up here too, if you want. It's totally up to you. So let's start with, let's use this one. This is so pretty. And if you like another kind of glue for your fabric projects, use what you like. You don't have to use hot glue. I just am so, I don't know, I always use hot glue, it seems like. And I almost always, well, pretty much always use this low temperature stuff. Okay, so this is why you need low temperature, because you're going to get little bits of glue on your fingers. I'm going to cut this off. And I can come back and glue it a little bit more securely later if I want. What do you guys think about this idea? If you like this concept of making scissor pouches, that's what I'm calling them, do a this or a this and sprinkle if you feel like it. That really helps me. Okay, so now let's do a row right here and a row right here. We'll do this one right here. And I'm just going to layer it right over the top of the other one. I'm leaving the fringe from where I ripped this so that that still shows. And for this one, I'm going to wrap it all the way around the back, I think. Did I do that on this? Yeah, I did. So, yeah, I'm going to do that. And then I'll make it rejoin right here. Any things that you mess up, you can cover with another piece of lace or with a button. So don't worry that this has to be perfect, because it does not. when I saw this idea last night, I was like, ooh, and then I really couldn't sleep. I didn't necessarily love the style of the scissor pouch that I saw on Pinterest. I mean, it was nice enough. I knew I could come up with my own spin that would be cream with lace and buttons. I wasn't sure how I was going to make it thick, like a pot holder would be if you folded it. Anyways, okay, so let's do this one right here, and let's use this thinner lace, which some of these laces came from Hobby Lobby, and some of these came from Dollar Tree, and some of these are vintage. Okay, so I'm going to lift this up a little bit and go back to the edge. You don't want to accidentally close that front pouch by gluing it shut, so I'm just going to be careful. This is so cute, you guys. And then I'm just going to follow this up here. You don't have to do the back if you don't want. It's totally personal preference. Okay. Here go my scissors. Okay, then the further embellishment that you might do, or you might not, is totally up to you. And I think I'm going to do this one very similar, if I can find that piece. Where is it? Maybe I'll use this. That's very pretty. Okay, so this is a piece of, I think this is called tatting. And what I want is the flower. So I'm going to just cut that off. I'm looking for scissors and I have 4 pairs right here. Whoops. So when I'm all finished, if you hopped on after the beginning, I showed my little drawing of this project. It's not really a pattern, it's just an explanation of how I made this work. Let me know if you would like this, and I'll get a photo of it. That's about the best I can do because I am not good with technology. I'll get a photo of it and I'll comment if you say instructions or something like that. I'll answer with that picture. I will also put it, ooh, I'm going to put this right on the corner. I will also put it in the comments. So let me just get a little tiny bit of glue on that. And then, of course, it needs some buttons. So let me see what I have available here. This is a beautiful button. It was one, I think it was one of the buttons that I purchased while I was in Bend, Oregon, visiting my son just not long ago. And let's do one of these. This has kind of a pinkish color to it. So I'm either going to do that. Yes, that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to glue on this first button. Where do I get these vintage mother of pearl buttons? I am always looking for them. Anytime I'm near an antique store, antique mall, thrift store. I'm always looking for buttons and lace, and sometimes I find something good and other times I find absolutely nothing. So it's just completely luck of the draw. Also, I'm frugal, so sometimes I'll find beautiful buttons that they want like $5 for each one, and there's just absolutely no way I'm going to do that. So there we go. You could add more buttons. You could embellish it in lots of different ways. You could do this whole project where the pouch that's over the top of the little quilt batting is a patterned fabric. It's ticking, it's painter's drop cloth, it's felt. I mean, you could do this 100 different ways. So here are my two. I love them. I'm super excited. I will get a picture of this and I will include that here in the comments. Hold up directions again. Thank you. I sure will, Brenda. And I'll tell you what it is. Okay, so the cotton quilt batting, it's this stuff that they put inside of quilts. It is 7 by 7. It's a square. That size is not set in stone. That's just how mine evolved. Then the long piece of fabric that's gonna basically have the quilt batting inside of it. It is 8 inches because I wanted a 1/2 inch seam on either side, and then it's 15 inches long. Then you can see where I folded it, and it was easier to fold it and iron it, so I knew where that fold was. And then basically you're just going to fold that over and make like a big sandwich. And then that gets folded 3 ways, however you want to do that. And that's it. And seriously, I had all this stuff on hand, so it really cost me nothing. I think if I had a friend or a sister or a mother or somebody who loved to sew, this would make a wonderful little gift. You could get a couple good pair of scissors and include that, and they would probably love it. Let me know if you would like to see my video tutorial on making this little pin cushion. It's one of my favorite crafts. I don't know if I can find this one because this one has been so long, but I can try. This is a needle book, and this is a crochet hook little pouch. I think I can probably find this one. This is also a needle book. So let me know if you'd like to see those. Oh, okay. Dee says that she made something like this out of pot holders. You know why that works is because they have the thickness to them and they're square. And sometimes they have that little loop that I would put up here at the top so that you could hang it. But that works too. Go to your local Dollar Tree and see if they have anything that isn't, you know, totally obnoxious, like some of their kitchen stuff. Or look around your house, or create something like that your own self. And that's basically it. All right, I hope that you liked this project. This was totally up my alley. I'm super excited about how easy they were, how quick they were, and just how they cost virtually nothing. If you decide to do this project or put your own spin on it, of course, I would love to see that. So come back and post pictures here. Let me know if you have any questions. Feel free to sprinkle, all that good stuff. Alrighty.